Good afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here and grateful for the opportunity to talk about winning with consumers in AI. I've got 15 minutes and 50 slides, and a big topic. So I'm going to power through the slides to tell a narrative. Some of the slides are dense. I'm going to do my best to pull up the key takeaways. If something piques your curiosity, I'm more than happy to share the slides following the talk. And also worth noting that to the extent we reference consumer feedback and preferences in the materials, that's out of some survey work that our team has conducted over the last couple of months. So with that, so there are two major shifts that we care about as investors and people tracking the market. The first are value shifts, which drive demand, and the second are technology shifts, which underpin adoption. When we talk about value shifts, we talk about major movements that are fueling mass adoption over time. And with tech shifts, we're talking about inflection points that unlock new capabilities. Both value shifts and tech shifts are rare and defining for the future. And when they intersect, it's even more rare. And these are a place where businesses get built that can change categories and become new industry giants. We're at one of those inflection points today, with generative AI powering a shift of a new generation of companies playing into the trend of access moving to edit. What do we mean? Well, let's start with talking about access. So the last couple of decades has really been about unlocking access to experience, to products and services. This has been an incredible place to build from, with huge consumer pull, and industry giants have been built. The social web has been a catalyst for this access. Here we have familiar social networks that have tens of millions, 100 million active users. Similarly, e-com and digital services have hit huge penetration, with the major companies having $1 billion, tens of billions of dollars of annual revenue. Device adoption has reached full penetration. And for the last 10 years, we've been in a steady state with some shifting you're seeing between device types, which we understand as consumers buying second and third devices. And the appetite for technology has been so great that consumers have been readily embracing products built for the enterprise for their own personal use. So for reasons we're going to get into in a few minutes, we believe that at this point we've reached peak access. It's a time when more is no longer more, and people are feeling overwhelmed, if not burdened, by the level of information and hyperconnectivity they have, and it's becoming counterproductive. If you ask consumers today, they'll reference this. The majority of them are saying that they want to engage less with technology, less with their social media, less with news headlines, with notifications, with games, their devices in general. In fact, we see this hyperconnectivity as an underpinning for stress. People this year report elevated stress levels to the tune of 40% just year over year, and 75% of people report they've walked away from decisions or purchases simply because they felt overwhelmed by the abundance of choice and inputs. We see these stress levels as a harbinger for what tech can solve for going forward to make things better. Enter Gen AI, which we feel has the opportunity to power the shift from access to edit. What do we mean when we talk about edit? So rather than give me more options, show me the option that's uniquely right for me. Rather than give me the tools to do something myself, do it with me, or better yet, do it for me. Rather than make me productive, be productive for me. Outsource the work, give me the output, and let me leverage that. A powerful way to think about edit is personalization, which has been a topic that we've talked about a lot in tech, but it really hasn't come to fruition. In fact, the thing that I think about is, the most personalized experience I have online is in my Instagram ad field or in the TikTok algorithm. So we see AI being uniquely suited to make personalization a reality through these mechanisms. Being able to deliver on your preferences, taking action on your user's behalf, having context and situational awareness, and obviously doing that while you're maintaining privacy. And the consumer's here for it. They're already in tune. There's an incredible awareness around AI and the power of AI, so much so that in 2 years, ChatGPT mindshare is touching the levels of Instagram. This slide is dense, and that's the point. So when asked users on what dimensions do they want to use AI, there was a significant response, 40% plus, across a wide range of tasks that span career, finance, personal services, and health. And you see here at the bottom, there's a few that are kind of rank in the low 20%. And those are really ones where the human element or the emotion element is the product. So think of coaches and therapists. When consumers make decisions, they do so on a three-part paradigm, looking for advantages on price, convenience, and quality. The business cycle of the past, when it was delivering access, was really focused on setting new standards in price and convenience. And even with parity on quality, companies were able to take mind share. These are some of the biggest winners of the last generation in comparison to the prior gen alternatives. And you can see here that in many cases, they won on price and convenience. If you think about what it takes for a consumer to trade out of an existing product and service in adopting a new one, yes, you have to maintain an eye on price and convenience. But with AI and introducing that into the conversation, we're seeing an expectation for higher quality, moving into the driver's seat of a decision-making process. There is a journey ahead to building out AI to be a full expression of what it can be, but we do see a path, and we do see the opportunity for better quality. So instead of just access to information, more healthcare data, more data on your wearables device, taking you to a place where you can take action from it and you can get better healthcare, for example. That said, the consumer expectation is high. They set a high bar for what is better. Their patience isn't exactly abundant, and that makes the window for experimentation quite narrow. All the more important to get it right when you're just getting started as a business. To that end, we propose this business idea to focus on two fronts. One is delivering magic, and the other is building trust. We think about these on two dimensions, so magic from delight to relief, and building trust from do it with me to do it for me. In the context of delivering magic, delight is more of a novelty. It's that moment that evokes a sense of joy or a sense of surprise, versus relief, which is about taking something that's in the red, that's a burning challenge for a person, and solving for it. Over the past decade, magic experiences have predominantly been anchored in delight. In fact, when you look at the winners of the past decade and you go back and talk to some of their earliest users about their first impression of the experience, they cite delight at a high rate in terms of what underpinned that moment of magic for them. Yet when you talk to consumers today and you introduce the possibility of AI or the power of AI powered, we hear consumers saying they're looking for a sense of relief. This suggests a powerful place to build on, the top half of this 2x2 graph, and it's a zone that hasn't been as penetrated as the delight part. Again, here's a dense chart, but it says that same task list, and we said when offered the opportunity to have AI powered, what do you imagine as your experience? And they, by and large, cited relief. And the good news is that's a really powerful place to build a business from. It offers a better chance for retention and engagement over time. But how do you craft a magic experience? So the next two slides are deserving of a talk in and of their own right. But to give a nod to the idea, we see four main jobs to be done on this front. The first, solve a red-hot problem. 2, have a high quality output. 3, be efficient while you're doing it. And 4, make something affordable that previously was out of reach. And with respect to the technology, we have some philosophies and some early product ideas that suggest that it's important to be anchored in transparency, to be upfront about where the AI is creating the advantage, to show users that they're going to get more than they give, and to bring them along in that journey. Here's a sample of some early movers in AI that are already performing well on these dimensions of relief. Now moving on to trust. Let's start with the reality that we're up against some hurdles. So getting back to that idea that there's sky-high consumer expectations and patience for experimentation is quite narrow. We can see in the headlines today there's plenty of critiques on the products that are out there. So with trust and building it, it really starts with engaging with collaboration with the user, allowing them to have some agency, and starting with a do-it-with-me journey. We see an opportunity and an openness when talking to people on the almost wanting to embrace the do-it-for-me. But not unexpected, most of these things today are more conceived to be in the do-it-with-me phase, and probably that's because it's early in the AI journey. We haven't totally proven out the power of it yet. But when we do, we imagine that there's going to be a shift to an autonomous format across a lot of these tasks being possible. And when you think about this in the context of the 2x2 graph, we're now talking about the upper right quadrant, which is a relief, delivering relief and doing it for you is a really powerful place to build a business from. And it may sound crazy to think about taking your hands off the wheel and letting AI do something for you. But remember how foreign or even inconceivable it felt to get in a stranger's car or to stay in someone's house? We've clearly moved beyond those fears. And so in addition to designing with user sensitivities, most companies have ramped up their controls and protections. And that plus a consistency in experience, and generally a lot of this is powered by user really wanting these tech-enabled products, has allowed us to build enough trust to get to where we are today. That said, there's new layers of confidence and trust that will need to be built as AI reaches its full potential. So how do you build trust? So some starting points that we suggest with on the delivering it, on the do it with me, do it for me scale is don't overpromise, be realistic about what you can do and ensure you deliver on it. Confirm that your service is really satisfying a need and that you're moving things forward from what already exists. And really understand what the cost is of missing the mark. Be in tune with what the downside is. Understand the perceived versus the actual risks and protect against disappointing the user. We're already seeing some developments here. You've got some industry leaders like Adobe making a forward step to honor the IP rights of creatives. And you've got some early movers like Perplexity introducing the idea of citations into their search results. There's a lot of building going on right here, and this is what we're calling the trust stack. It's an emerging foundation of tools and technologies that will underpin the ability for AI to become autonomous. There's lots to be done. They will need to be leveraged across many things to deliver on that experience, but there's work being done and there's a path forward on it. So in closing, we see a consumer that's generally eager and optimistic about AI. 50% of the people we talk to have engaged with it already in some way, and 80% plus of the people imagine it being a positive lever in their life. The intersection of a growing desire to move towards edit or personalization with the actual possibility that AI can deliver on that offers a step change for consumers and for business. And we see a winning formula in delivering magic, so solving a red-hot problem, delivering quality, being efficient while doing it, making something possible or affordable that wasn't before, while building trust in the form of managing your expectations, providing transparency, encouraging collaboration, and mitigating risks, leading to a path of adoption, of loyalty, and of scale.